Let me ask you about Todd Blanche and Bill Pulte. I'll start with Todd Blanche. This is a guy who has a relationship to Trump. It's not like he was his lawyer one time on some obscure bankruptcy case or, suing some contractor a long time ago. These are cases that were central to the prosecution of Donald Trump as president. He argued, including before the Supreme Court, that Donald Trump should be immune from prosecution. This doesn't feel like the process that many Americans who are frustrated by the brokenness of government are looking for.
Right. No, it's beyond troubling. And I'm glad we're taking the conversation about Blanche's nomination and the Pulte selection together, because it's a bigger picture here, right? The selection of Todd Blanche as Attorney General, which will have to go through a confirmation process, but this is somebody who's Trump's personal lawyer, and he'll put Trump's interest ahead of the interest of the American people, number one. Want evidence of that? Look at the sweetheart deal to protect Trump and his entire family from IRS audits, right? That there's still that to be shaken out, but that's the type of agenda they have. He shielded Trump from the Epstein investigation fallout, him and Pam Bondi working in tandem. So these are indicators for what type of Attorney General Todd Blanche would be. But you also bring up Bill Pulte and forget the lack of qualifications for this job as the Director of National Intelligence, temporary or permanent. In his current role as head of the Housing and Finance Agency, he's weaponized the sensitive information he's had access to go after Trump's perceived enemies. Just imagine.
He had information on people's mortgages, and he used that to go after people who were perceived enemies. Now, that's information on people's mortgages,
which is imagine what he would do.
I mean, that's pretty benign stuff,
access
generally
to the sensitive
speaking.
information of our country.
Yeah, I mean, look, the average person, average American may or may not know that, but they probably assume that someone can get information on their mortgage. This is, can you imagine putting this person in charge of 18 intelligence agencies?
Right, and here's where it all comes together, Ali. Trump's obsession with the big lie. We know that he's trying to rig the November elections in a desperate attempt to hold on to power. In the first term, he will let attorney generals go when they wouldn't do his bidding. That won't be the case with Todd Blanche. That's his personal lawyer. And when it comes to the office of the Director of National Intelligence, if you like what Tulsi Gabbard did in Fulton County, Georgia, then you're going to love what Bill Pulte will be willing to do. Or if you're like most Americans, including me, and you're concerned by the precedent that Tulsi Gabbard set in that FBI raid in Fulton County, then you ought to be deathly afraid of what Bill Pulte would do with this position in their attempt to rig this November's election. So we're not going to stand for it. We're going to put up a fight, and we're going to do everything we can to block these individuals from serving in these capacities.
Obviously, that fight gets more interesting if you've got more members in the Senate after November, but you've got a few things that are there, happening right where you are. There's obviously the nomination of Bill Pulte and how that's going to go through hearings. There's the Todd Blanche nominations. There's the vote to renew the surveillance authorizations. There's the $70 billion in funding for ICE and CBP. These are all things that Chuck Schumer and Democrats have said they want to stand in the way of. There are a few more disgruntled senators on the Republican side right now, Cassidy and Cornyn. Tell me how this all plays out.
Yeah, well, I think we're getting glimpses of that in real time as we're in the midst of this vote-a-rama. So on the floor of the Senate as we speak is a purely partisan Republican proposal to give another $70 billion plus for ICE and CBP to continue their out-of-control immigration enforcement operation. You would think that given the pain that working families across the country are feeling, that we'd be spending time debating how do we lower grocery bills, how do we reduce healthcare costs, how do we reduce the price of gas that people rely on to be able to get to work. Instead, Republicans are once again doing Trump's bidding for an agency that already has $100 billion that they haven't been able to spend from previous allocations. But there's glimmers of hope, whether it's Senator Cassidy, as you mentioned, Senator Cornyn, as you've mentioned, or other good, conscious Republicans that have voted with Democrats on occasion to rein this in. We're hopeful that we'll be able to keep the ballroom from getting funded, this weaponization slush fund from being created, but we have a lot more work to do.
Senator, good to see you. Thank you for joining us this evening. Senator Alex Padilla of California.